Forget everything you think you know about traditional stardom, because the year 2025 has officially become the era of the individual BTS takeover. And honestly, the global media is barely keeping up with the chaos. We aren't just talking about music charts or some random popularity polls. We're talking about a full-blown cultural shift where 7 different men have carved out 7 different empires across the face of the planet. From the glitz of the Paris runways to the high-stakes boardrooms of luxury fashion houses, and from the top of the Billboard Hot 100 to the most prestigious art galleries in the world, these guys aren't just members of a group anymore. They are individual institutions of influence. You've seen the headlines, you've felt the social media earthquakes every time one of them posts a single photo, and you've probably wondered, how on earth does one group produce 7 human beings that the media is this obsessed with? It's like watching a real-life superhero team split up to save different parts of the world, only instead of capes, they're wearing Gucci, Valentino, and Bottega Veneta. Reporters from New York to London and Tokyo are constantly debating who actually carries the most iconic weight in this new landscape. Is it the poetic leader who talks about art like a philosophy professor? The eldest who returned from the military and immediately became the face of the Olympic spirit? Or the youngest who seems to break a world record every time he blinks? The data is screaming, the fans are roaring, and the global media is stuck in a permanent state of what just happened, as these 7 stars continue to redefine what it means to be a legend in the 21st century. We're about to dive into the nitty-gritty, the facts, the dramatic returns, and the sheer audacity of their individual successes that have left the world's biggest journalists in awe. No spoilers, but this isn't your average countdown. This is a deep dive into the DNA of global fame, the BTS way. Get ready, because the media's verdict on who truly holds the crown of iconic is a journey through talent, sweat, and some of the most mind-blowing achievements the entertainment industry has ever seen. It's loud, it's messy, it's glamorous, and it's completely, undeniably BTS. Let's get it! Number 7. J-Hope, the performance pioneer, Street King's evolution. When you talk about J-Hope, or Jungkook, the global media doesn't just see a K-pop idol. They see a literal force of nature that has single-handedly rewritten the rules of what a solo stage performer should look like in the modern era. Think back to that historic moment at Lollapalooza. It wasn't just a concert, it was a cultural reset that journalists from Rolling Stone to the New York Times still use as a benchmark for solo excellence. J-Hope entered his solo era with a jack-in-the-box energy that was so gritty, so raw, and so far removed from the sunshine persona the world thought they knew that it left the media in a total state of shock. He didn't just walk onto the stage, he emerged from a box like a hip-hop ghost, and for over an hour he commanded a crowd of over 100,000 people who were mostly there for rock and indie music. That's the Hobie effect. The media loves him because he's a risk-taker. He's the one who took the safe BTS image and threw it into a blender of industrial beats and street dance grit. In 2025, his impact has only grown, especially with his Hope on the Street documentary series, which reminded everyone, from veteran dancers in New York to kids in Gwangju, that he is a master of his craft first and a celebrity second. Fashion-wise, Louis Vuitton didn't just sign him because he's famous, they signed him because he has that it factor, where he can wear a skirt, a futuristic suit, or a simple streetwear hoodie and make it look like it belongs in the Louvre. He's the guy who brought the BTS effect to the world of high-concept performance art, and global media outlets like NME have praised him for being the pioneer of the group's solo transition. There's a certain comedy in how he can go from being the loudest, most energetic person in a room to a silent, laser-focused professional who monitors every single frame of his choreography. The media is obsessed with this duality, the smiling sun versus the strict dance captain. Journalists often note that while other stars rely on gimmicks, J-Hope relies on pure, unadulterated skill. His return from military service was treated like a national holiday, not just in Korea, but across global entertainment desks, because the industry missed his particular brand of high-octane stage presence. He's iconic because he's the bridge between the underground dance world and the pinnacle of global pop, and he does it all with a laugh that can be heard from 3 blocks away. He's the heartbeat of the performance world, and the media knows that without J-Hope, the stage is a lot quieter. Number 6. Sugar, the production genius, the rebel with a Valentino suit. Min Yoongi, or as the world now knows him on a first-name basis, August D, is the cool, mysterious rebel that the global media simply cannot stop analyzing. While other stars are chasing the next bright pop hit, Sugar is in his studio, probably in a hoodie with a glass of whiskey, producing some of the most introspective and hard-hitting music of our time. The media's fascination with him hit an all-time high during his D-Day World Tour, where he became the first BTS member to embark on a massive solo tour across the US and Asia. Journalists were floored by the sheer theatrality of his shows. He wasn't just rapping, he was telling a story of trauma, healing, and survival. Variety and Billboard described his tour as a masterclass in storytelling, noting that he has the rare ability to make a stadium feel like an intimate jazz club and a riotous punk show at the same time. Suga is iconic in the eyes of the global media because he represents the intellectual side of the idol world. He doesn't play the game, he makes the game. When Valentino named him a global brand ambassador, it wasn't just because he's a BTS member. It was because his Suga persona perfectly matches the brand's DIVA, Diverse Values campaign. He's got that sharp, cat-like gaze that looks just as home on a basketball court as an NBA ambassador as it does on a high-fashion billboard. The media loves the Yoongi Marry Me meme because it highlights his understated, almost accidental charm that has turned him into a global heartthrob without him even trying. He's the guy who writes about social pressure and mental health with the precision of a surgeon, and the global media respects him as a producer idol who has collaborated with legends like Ryuichi Sakamoto and Psy. There's something deeply cinematic about his journey, from being a delivery driver in Daegu to performing at a sold-out Madison Square Garden, and the media eats up every bit of that underdog to superstar narrative. In 2025, even while being more private, his influence is felt every time a new producer tries to mimic his signature Suga sound. He's the silent powerhouse, the one who doesn't need to shout to be heard, and the media recognizes him as the artistic backbone of the group's legendary status. He's the gloss that turned into gold, and honestly, the world is still trying to catch up to his genius. Number 5. RM. The intellectual leader, the art world's favorite muse. Kim Namjoon isn't just a rapper or a leader. In the eyes of the global media, he is the diplomat of K-pop and the intellectual architect of a generation. If you ask any journalist from The Atlantic or Time magazine which member is the most likely to become a world leader, they'll point to RM without hesitation. His iconic status isn't just built on his legendary lyricism, but on his incredible ability to articulate the struggles of youth on the global stage, whether it's at the United Nations or the White House. The media is absolutely obsessed with Namjooning, his habit of visiting art museums and riding bicycles, to the point where he has single-handedly boosted the tourism of small galleries all over South Korea and the world. He's the guy who made being a nerd cool again. When he released Indigo and then the experimental Right Place, Wrong Person, the global music critics went wild, praising him for his genre-defying and art house approach to pop music. He's not chasing TikTok trends, he's discussing the meaning of existence with jazz musicians and indie artists. Bottega Veneta saw this and realized he was the perfect hidden gem of a spokesperson, someone who values quality and substance over flashy logos. The media loves to portray him as the brain of the group, the one who can navigate a complex interview in English while making everyone feel at home. There's a certain comedic charm in how this man can lead the world's biggest band, but also lose his passport every 3 seconds or accidentally break a table just by leaning on it. This clumsy genius narrative makes him incredibly relatable to the global audience. Reporters often note that RM is the bridge that helped the West take K-pop seriously as an art form. He's the one who translates the emotions of 7 men into words that a global audience can understand. By 2025, his status as an art influencer has become so large that he's basically the unofficial ambassador of the global museum circuit. He's iconic because he proves that you can be a global superstar while still being a student of life, constantly learning, constantly growing, and constantly reminding us that maybe I made a mistake yesterday, but yesterday's me is still me. The media doesn't just watch RM, they listen to him. And that's a power very few icons ever truly achieve. Number 4. Jin, the worldwide handsome, the Olympic legends return. When Kim Seok-jin walked out of his military discharge in June 2024, it wasn't just a news story. It was a global media event that felt like the return of a conquering king. Jin is iconic for a reason that goes far beyond his worldwide handsome face. Though let's be real, that face is a global treasure. He is the master of the comeback. Whether it was his emotional solo debut with The Astronaut, a gift from Coldplay that had journalists crying in their newsrooms, or his recent second solo album, Echo, in 2025, Jin has proven that his charm is universal. But the real moment that cemented him as a global media titan was when he carried the Olympic torch for the Paris 2024 Games. Think about that for a second. A K-pop star, the first BTS member to return, representing the spirit of the Olympics in the heart of France. The media from France 24 to the BBC couldn't get enough of him, praising his grace, his humor, and his Prince of Korea aura. He is the king of variety shows, the guy who can make a high-stakes cooking show feel like a comedy club. The global media loves Jin because he's the funny guy who also happens to have a voice that can reach the back of a stadium with ease. Gucci and Fred Jewelry have fought over him because he embodies a type of old money luxury that is timeless and elegant. He's the eldest who keeps the group's spirits up with dad jokes, but he's also the one who showed incredible maturity by being the first to serve his country. Journalists love the narrative of the visual who proved everyone wrong by becoming one of the most respected vocalists in the industry. In 2025, his solo fan meetings are legendary for being half concert, half stand-up comedy, and the media eats up every bit of it. He's the guy who can trend on Twitter for just eating a bowl of noodles or blowing a kiss to a camera. He's iconic because he's unapologetically himself, confident, hilarious, and incredibly kind. He's the global visual who actually has the heart to match the face, and the media knows that as long as Jin is around, the world is a much more entertaining place. Number 3. V, the visual powerhouse, the social media king of the century. Kim Taehyung, or simply V, is the man who makes the global media lose its collective mind with just a single blink of his eyes. If there's a most handsome face list, V is at the top. If there's an Instagram record to be broken, V is the one breaking it. The media's obsession with V is almost scientific at this point. How can one person be this photogenic? But it's not just about looks. V is the Vante of the group, the soulful, jazzy artist who brings a touch of Chet Baker to the world of K-pop. When he released Layover, the media was floored by his aesthetic, lo-fi, vintage, and incredibly cool. British Vogue and GQ have labeled him a fashion icon who doesn't just wear clothes, he creates moments. His presence at Celine events alongside Lisa from Blackpink and Park Bo-gum caused literal riots in the streets of Paris, with the media reporting that the V effect was more powerful than any traditional marketing campaign. He's the guy who can make a Cartier necklace look like it was made specifically for his neck. But beyond the fashion, the media loves his mystery. V is a man of few words but massive impact. He's a social media juggernaut. His Instagram account reached 50 million followers faster than anyone in history, and the media constantly analyzes his aesthetic posts as a new form of digital art. There's a comedy in his 4D personality, how he can be the most serious model on a runway and then immediately start dancing like a goofball the moment the camera is off. This unpredictable nature makes him a media favorite because you never know what he's going to do next. In 2025, his influence has only solidified as the king of brands, with his K-brand index ranking staying at #1 for months on end. He's iconic because he represents the pinnacle of idol culture, the perfect blend of talent, visual power, and an untouchable aura of cool. He's the man who turned I Purple You into a global movement, and the media knows that V isn't just a star, he's a constellation. Number 2, Jimin, the modern dance icon, the Billboard chart destroyer. Park Jimin is the global it boy that the media can't help but adore, mostly because he keeps doing the impossible. When he hit #1 on the Billboard 100 with Like Crazy, he didn't just make history, he shattered the glass ceiling for K-pop soloists forever. The media went into a tailspin. Who was this man with the angelic voice and the contemporary dance moves who just beat out the biggest Western stars? Jimin is iconic because he is the artist's artist. His dance style is a mix of ballet, contemporary, and street that has been praised by legends in the dance world and analyzed by journalists as poetry in motion. The global fashion media, especially Dior and Tiffany & Co., treat him like royalty. When he arrived at Paris Fashion Week, the media impact value he generated was in the tens of millions of dollars, literally more than some entire grands. Reporters note that his fans don't just like him, they are devoted to him in a way that is almost spiritual. The Jimin effect is a real phenomenon where everything he touches, from a specific brand of lip balm to a Dior bag, sells out in seconds. In 2025, his Muse album and the hit Who have dominated the global Spotify charts, proving that his success wasn't a fluke, but a permanent fixture of the pop landscape. The media loves his soft power, his ability to be incredibly gentle and kind in interviews, but then turn into a fierce, powerful performer the moment the music starts. There's a beautiful comedy in his small stature compared to the other members, which the media often pokes fun at, only to then show him absolutely dominating a stage with his massive presence. He's the king of brand reputation for a reason. He's consistent, he's talented, and he has a charm that transcends language. He's iconic because he brought a level of artistic elegance to the global pop scene that we haven't seen since the likes of Michael Jackson or Prince. The media doesn't just see a singer, they see a legend in the making, and Jimin is just getting started. Number 1, Jungkook, the global pop boy, the golden maknae of the world. And finally, the man who sits at the very top of the global media pyramid, the golden maknae himself, Jungkook. If you look at the statistics, the headlines, and the sheer cultural saturation of 2024 and 2025, there is no denying that Jungkook has become the main character of the global pop industry. From the moment he performed Dreamers at the FIFA World Cup, a performance that was seen by billions, the media realized that Jungkook wasn't just a K-pop star. He was a global pop icon on the level of Justin Bieber or Harry Styles. His solo debut with Seven was a nuclear explosion on the charts, staying at #1 for weeks and breaking Spotify records that people felt were unbeatable. The media labels him the pop king of the Gen Z era because he has the perfect voice, the perfect dance moves, and the perfect boy next door charm that also happens to be covered in tattoos and piercings. His partnership with Calvin Klein was arguably the most successful celebrity endorsement of the decade, with the media reporting that his ads caused the brand's website to crash and social media engagement to skyrocket by thousands of %. Jungkook is iconic because he represents the perfect idol. He can do everything, and he does it with an ease that is almost frustratingly good. The media loves his live stream persona, where he'll just hang out with millions of fans, fold his laundry, fall asleep, or sing karaoke for 4 hours. This hyper-accessibility has changed the way stars interact with fans, and journalists have written long-form essays on how Jungkook has redefined the concept of a parasocial relationship. In 2025, his golden legacy continues to grow as he prepares for his post-military return, with the media already predicting that his next move will be the biggest event in music history. He's the guy who can make a TikTok dance go viral or make a slowed and reverb version of his song, The Anthem of a Summer. He is the ultimate global center, the one who the media looks to when they want to see where the future of entertainment is heading. He's iconic because he is the golden standard of what a superstar should be in 2025. Fearless, insanely talented, and globally unstoppable. The media doesn't just follow Jungkook, they chase him, because he is the fastest-moving target in the history of fame. So, after sprinting through the records, the runways, and the literal cultural earthquakes these 7 guys have sparked, what's the final takeaway from the global media's obsession? It's actually pretty hilarious when you think about it. Journalists spent years trying to figure out which one was the main star, only to realize they accidentally created 7 individual suns that the entire entertainment industry now orbits around. Whether you're Team Art Professor Namjoon, Team Olympic Legend Jin, or Team Pop King Jungkook, the data doesn't lie. BTS didn't just break the mold, they melted it down and turned it into 7 different trophies. The global media is basically in a permanent state of, wait, they did what now? Because every time a member breathes, a server crashes or a chart gets rewritten. But here's the real kicker, the secret that the big news outlets are finally starting to grasp. As massive as they are as solo titans, the world is collectively holding its breath for the moment all 7 chairs are filled again. The solo era wasn't just a side quest, it was a victory lap that proved these guys are legends with or without each other, which just makes their bond even more terrifying for anyone else trying to compete for the top spot. By late 2025, the conversation shifted from, are they still relevant, to, how do we survive when they're all back together? It's been a journey of high-fashion drama, grit, and the kind of success that sounds like a movie script, but is actually just a Tuesday for them. So keep your eyes on the headlines and your social media feeds on high alert, because if this was just the solo chapter, the grand finale is going to be absolutely historic. This is the era of the individual, but the legend of the 7 is far from over. And honestly, the media is just happy to be invited to the party. Stay hyped, keep streaming, and remember, in the world of global icons, there's BTS, and then there's everyone else. Catch you later.